Here's a line drive high and deep to left. It is gone! 3-run home run, Kyle Kubat. Fly ball to left, Sweeney hit well, and Charlie Capsella, what a play! Here's a line drive out to center field. It's a grand slam! Going back is Shaw. He is going to get there. What a catch! And he's going to hop over the fence while doing it. What a coming home. It's Morales to throw on a double hop. Is it in time? It is in time! Here's a rocket. Deep left field. Does this have a chance to go? It is gone! Go ahead, homer. Tyler Wilson on the first pitch. Play called for a back on the 14th, and there's number 100. Stephen Devaney with a line drive to left. He's 2 for 2. And with triple digits for number 1 as difference. And here's a ground ball shooting through the left side. And Kingsway has won the Ralph Shaw opener. Here we go. Fly ball deep left center field. And it is gone. Grand slam. Scott Lynch, grand slam. Is the man of the hour. There's a ground ball that's going to go into center field. It's going to be picked up, and it's going to be booted. Here comes the runner to the plate, and Pittman has won it in extras. Walk-off single, Jude Engstrom. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swinging on this! And the Audubon Great Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons. Classic.
Well, I guess you could call this a take 2. Welcome to coverage of the Pine Barrens Phantoms and the Haddonfield Roughriders here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It's Game 2 of the Tri-County Baseball League quarterfinals here from the Ricino Athletic Complex in Haddon Township. We were here yesterday, same time, same place, but it got washed out 30 minutes before first pitch and 100 feet after we moved our equipment for the first time. It was quite a spectacular day, to say the least. The baseball gods seemed to be completely against us for what it was worth, and just overall a very weird day indeed. We moved our equipment, started pouring buckets. We put everything in our tent and everything stayed dry for the most part. Then as soon as we got the call that the game was canceled, we packed up our stuff, and as soon as we started moving the equipment to the DWB Mobile, it stopped raining. And there was a rainbow out there, out in right center field. So, what a day it was. But let's try it again. The Phantoms trail the Roughriders in this series 1-0 in the quarterfinals, and they are still looking for their first playoff series win in their league tenure. This is their second year in the league under the leadership of their head coach, Lamola. But still, the Pine Barrens, they're a good team. They won the North Division pretty decidedly over Cinnaminson, Delran, and Burlington Township. So the question is today, what is it going to take for the Pine Barrens to even the series up at 1 and move the series on to a decisive winner-take-all Game 3? But let's talk about what's going on with the with this quarterfinal series going on so far. The Gardens of Vineland have already clinched their semifinal spot. They swept the South Jersey Grizzlies in a 5-1 win in Game 1 and then a 4-0 win in Game 2. So pretty decisively, they beat the Grizzlies, who ended up beating the Cinnaminson Reds in the play-in round. But the Gardens, who were the reigning Carter Cup champions, they now look to repeat their 2022 title with a 2023 ring as well. Players are still warming up out here, though, so let's talk about how the semifinals are going to look. There's going to be 3 games each played at Alcyon Park in Pittman and at the Camden Athletic Complex in Camden, home of the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors, and it's going to be a fun one. But let's cut that board out, as we are going to do the starting lineups just to start this festivities on this wonderful, hot, but beautiful Wednesday evening. It's going to be Zach Ellen leading off for the Phantoms in center field. John Schwazgowski is going to be the first baseman batting second. Ryan Kelly is the right fielder batting third. Mike Fillet is the left fielder batting cleanup. Zach Wiener is the extended hitter batting fifth. Brian Brown is the second baseman batting sixth. Joey Steff is the third baseman batting 7th. Connor Arsenal is the catcher batting 8th. You've got the pitcher slash DH being Ronnie Krankowski, excuse me. And then in the final spot in the order at shortstop is Jack Gilmer. For the Roughriders, as coached by Thomas Gasse, it's going to be Shane McKenna at third base batting leadoff, Danny Vasquez of Rutgers Camden at second base batting 2nd, Eric Sabato in center field batting 3rd, Aaron Graber in left field batting 4th. Ian Murphy is the extended hitter batting 5th, Jack Murphy is the DH batting 6th. Shane Daly is the right fielder batting 7th, Zay Ishmael is the center fielder batting 8th, the first baseman batting 8th. Then you've got Sean Perkins, the shortstop batting 9th, and Evan Carbone behind the plate batting 10th. It's going to be Welsher on the mound for the Roughriders, the former Audubon grad who was a part of the 2011 and 2012 state championship teams. So it's going to be a fun one. Will it be a pitcher's duel or will it be a 10-8 slugfest like it was in Game 1? Of course, Game 2 was postponed to today, and that's what you're watching right now with my producer Vincent Folk and myself, Dan Wilkins. We'll go to a very quick break before these players take the field, and we'll have you playoff baseball of the Tri-County Baseball League coming up next. Here we are from the Ricino Athletic Complex. Roughriders taking the field now with Welsher, the Audubon grad, taking the hill for the home side in this Game 2 contest. Best of these two. I don't know why the camera's out of focus. Hold on. I don't know what that's all about, but might be the angle, might be where we're just set up. But Welsher's coming into this game pretty hot, and I think that Haddonfield and the Pine Barrens, they're going to have a rough time squaring up against these guys for the first couple of innings. Maybe Zach Ellen will get a hit or two off of them to start, but just the way things are going, Roughriders being the 6th seed, won Game 1 in 8 innings versus the Pine Barrens. But Zach Welsher of Rutgers Camden, he's going into this game with a 1.47 ERA in 18 1/3 innings, 17 strikeouts, and a 1.31 whip with a .214 batting average against. So these guys are hitting just over 200 against Welsher, and we think that his tall stature, along with the fact that he's got a good fastball and off-speed mix as well, is going to fool these Pine Barrens hitters for a decent while in the 7th inning contest. But as we said, Zach Ellen, John Schwazkowski, and Ryan Kelly are going to be the first 3 to hit for the Phantoms this evening. It's the first time we've covered the Pine Barrens team this year. It's the first time that they've been given the DWB spotlight, as Zach Ellen is going to step in here as the center fielder to lead off the ball game versus Zach Welsher. Game 2 of the Tri-County Baseball League the quarterfinals is going to start right now. Of course, an interesting angle where we're at, but we're up on a hill down the third base line. Not really a whole lot of space you can set up in the outfield without being in play. So Zach Ellen leading it off, first pitch. It's going to be high, 1-0, and we're underway. .1-0 from Welsher. There's a strike, 1-1. Zach Ellen was one of the top hitters, not just in the North Division, but in the entirety of the Tri-County League this year. That one's going to be a ball, 2-1. Ellen, another Rutgers Camden alum, 444 average. He was hitting over 600 at the All-Star break, but in the last couple of weeks of the season, kind of tailed off a little bit, as this one's going to be a foul ball off towards the third base line and out of play, 2-2. We could be in foul ball territory. This could be fun. We could have a couple headed our way. I've made one foul ball catch this year, and that was when Audubon played Bordentown. We had to set up down the third base line because the Bordentown officials wouldn't let us set up in the outfield because of a construction project. And there's a line drive by Ellen out to short, picked up, throw to first is in time. Almost pulled Ishmael off the bag. That's going to be the first out, though, as John Shaskowski is going to be up now. Yeah, Ellen was batting .444 with 28 for 63. 1.087 batting average. He's even got 3 innings on the mound, but I'm sure Jerry Lamola is very proud of his players for what they've been able to accomplish in just their second year of league membership. They're still looking for their first playoff series victory. They lost a series 2-1 to the Cherry Hill Pittman Ball Club last year before the league was officially expanded, but they won game 1 and then lost games 2 and 3, so these guys have an uphill battle to climb being down 1-0, so maybe they'll decide to play the mirror card of what happened last year and kind of avenge their wrongs from 22 and have a better shot this year. There's a slow ground ball out to short, or rather out to second base, and throw to first is in time, 2 away. So 2 up, 2 down for the Phantoms, as now that brings up Ryan Kelly, their right fielder. Yeah, it was funny. The first Tri-County League game that I attended was actually the Pine Barrens and CHBR. They squared off in a matchup in late June, I want to say, before we actually decided to have our partnership with Bill Kohut and Angelo Marciano. And our first game would be Gartons and CHP on July 5th. There's a strike. 0-1. Yeah, game 3 between Washington Township and CHP will be happening in about an hour at Alcyon Park. And Haddonfield and CHBR, that series got pushed back a day because of the rain. Two games played last night, 2 games didn't, basically. Up and away by Welsher. Two-one count to Kelly. That one's a foul ball, back behind home plate. And into the trees. 2-2. On deck for the Phantoms will be Mike Fillet, the left fielder. Yeah, definitely an interesting angle to cover from, but the good thing about DWB is that we can kind of work from any angle, you know, be a little bit versatile with what we do. I think that's a good motto to live by for a business like what we do. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Welsher with a clean first inning, 2 ground outs and a strikeout. Pine Barrens goes down in order after no score. We'll be right back. Game 2 here between the Pine Barrens Phantoms. I don't know why this camera's out of focus all night, but Ronnie Krankowski getting the start for the Phantoms here. We'll try to diagnose that as we go along, but Shea McKenna, the West Stepford alum, leading it off versus Krankowski as he takes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. It's Shea McKenna, Danny Vasquez, and Eric Sabato, the leadoff three. Thomas Gasse coaching out there at third base. Strike. Bill Kohut here tonight, league organizer, hanging out there down the third base dugout where the Phantoms are. And the 0-2. Ground ball hit well out to third. Throw across the diamond on one hop, but he got it in time. That's kind of the advantage the grass plays to you, and Joey Steff knows that well, so there's one away. 5-3 ground out. Here's Danny Vasquez, Rutgers Camden second baseman, going into his sophomore year for the Scarlet Raptors in 2024. Yeah, I mean, the grass is definitely pretty tall out here. I think it might have a symptom of what, I forget where we were. It was Belmar Rec. The grass was pretty tall out there. We were doing the American Legion districts out there, and it was quite interesting because we had like a line drive single to left, and the grass would just stop the baseball right in its path. It wouldn't even get to the left fielder. He'd have to run into it. 1-1 count. But it was interesting. It was definitely interesting. And, you know, as these guys go along and they learn the adaptations they have to make to the grass. Ooh, and that's going to be beanball right there. Vasquez hit by the pitch. And he'll get down to first base for Eric Sabato. Sabato went 4 for 4 in game 1. In a game that the Roughriders won in 8 innings, 10-8. With quite a back and forth game, a slugfest out in Tabernacle, and Patty Boker Field, where the Phantoms play, actually has the latest start times in the Tri-County League. Usually their home games start at 7:30. Which makes sense because, you know, there's a lot of teams here that are centered around a certain area. You've got teams out in Cherry Hill, Haddon Field, Haddon Township, all pretty centered into a certain area, into a certain like 5 or 10 mile radius. And then you get out, there's CHP out there, there's Washington Township, and you've got the Pine Barrens team based out of Tabernacle. Then of course Gartons of Vineland, which are in their own market. But you could say this. Oh, here we go. Throw over first. You could say the same thing though about the South Shore League. They've got a lot of teams hugged up against the shore. Teams in Absecon, teams in Atlantic City, teams in Ocean City. But then you've got teams that are a little bit closer to where we are in Buna, Hamilton. Of course, there's the South Jersey Surf, which are the remnants of the old Atlantic City Surf team that were an actual semi-pro independent ball team back in the 90s. Northfield. Whoa, that ball's going to get away, and it's going to be an E1. Pickoff throw goes wild, and it will move their runner up to second base. So Vasquez gets lucky and takes advantage of an errant throw. That puts Roughriders in scoring position. You could see the frustration on Krankowski's expressions. As soon as he saw the ball get out of his hand, he just knew that throw was going to be wild, and he was livid with himself. So yeah, so Vasquez advances to second on an E1. Yeah, just bounced off of Shaskowski's glove. Went down the first base line. But again, with that tall grass, the ball's not going to get very far, so Vasquez really couldn't have advanced a whole lot further than third, rather than second base. So full count though to Sabato with the left fielder Aaron Graber on deck. One away. And a runner on second in the bottom of the first for the Roughriders. Sabato down the left field line and foul. Over towards the batting cage. Yeah, I didn't really consider this when we were setting up in foul ball territory, that we were going to be in the direct line of where there may be a couple line drives hit throughout the night, especially with our proximity to home plate. 3-2 again. Ground ball hit out to third, trapping it, and the throw to first is going to be way over the head of Shaztowicki, and it's going to roll out of play. I think they're going to call it a dead ball, and Vasquez is going to get the run. So the Roughriders get on the board on an E5, and it's 1-0. So 2 errors in just 3 batters, and the Phantoms already have their back against the wall in the first inning. Yeah, that ball rolled out of play, and I guess that was discussed in the ground rules that they gave Sabato the free base. And now that brings up Aaron Graber to left fielder, batting cleanup here for the Roughriders. As a lefty with the Murphy brothers back-to-back next. Ian Murphy, the EH, and Jack Murphy, the DH, batting 5th and 6th, respectively. There's a strike, 0-1. So Vasquez scored on the wild throw from the third baseman Joey Steff, and he made a good play on the first play of the inning in regards to Shea McKenna. The ball went to him, and he made a bit of a bounce throw to first, which you can't do all that often. You know, those bounce throws are hard to do, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, or whether he just muffed it, but Pine Barrens defense definitely not doing them any favors early on in this ball game. 1-1 to Graber. Breaking ball misses outside. 2-1. That one misses. The delivery is high and away, and Graber will walk. This could definitely be a breakout inning for the Roughriders if they're able to keep this stretch going. Because right now, what's looking interesting is that I'm still having to fix some settings on this. We'll have to fix it during the break. I usually don't have problems with the focus of the camera, so maybe it's the angle of the sun, I don't know, but we usually don't have this problem. So again, we're gonna try to fix that when we're on break. Apologies in advance. But 5th batter of the inning, Ian Murphy, batting for the Roughriders. Whoa. Oh, they're saying that he leaned into the pitch, so they are going to discredit the hit by pitch. And Murphy seems to be all smiles about it, but see, that happens sometimes. You've seen it with, I forget his name, of the Pirates, Jose Tabata. You see it a lot with Anthony Rizzo, Michael Conforto, those kind of guys that they lean very close to the plate when they get hit. Sometimes it appears that they're reaching out and attempting to intentionally get hit. So that's where that discrepancy comes in. Because you can see where his elbow kind of dips down in his motion. Sometimes if a breaking ball gets a little bit too close and you're not making a choice to move out of the way, I mean, it's not like Krankowski's throwing all that hard. He's mostly throwing off speed. So both runners are going though, and there's going to be no throws. Everybody moves up. Runners on second and third. Yeah, if the Roughriders can get a good offensive string together, if Zach Welsher can continue to be dominant as he was in the first inning, he had 2 soft groundouts and a strikeout, the Roughriders might have this series in their control as he throws behind Ian Murphy. 4-4, so that will load the bases. Sabato on third, Graber on second, and Ian Murphy with their second straight walk. This brings up Rutgers-Camden's Jack Murphy. He hit a homer in the first game that we covered with the Roughriders versus Camden earlier in the month of July. First pitch, and he finally delivers a fastball, and that's a swing and a miss. 0-1. You got to imagine that with the bases loaded and only 1 out, you know, Krankowski's probably a little bit frustrated, dissatisfied with how the scoreboard's looking right now. That one misses. And the Roughriders could very well make this rally, you know, their sticking point in the ball game. Like we said, Murphy's hit a couple of home runs this year. If he can get a ball into the gap in between Ellen and, you know, Filet out there and left, could make it a 4-0 lead at the best, at least. That one's foul and out of play. There's like a access road that's behind the trees back here, and it's hard to tell where it would go, but I think Mason Dobbs is going out there and grabbing the baseballs, because those baseballs aren't cheap, I'll tell you. Going to Dick's Sporting Goods, it's like $10 for a single baseball wrapped in plastic. They do not come cheap. Breaking ball in the dirt. 2-2. Heard it loud and clear. Bases loaded, 1 out. Roughriders making a rally here off of Ronnie Krankowski. We'll see if he can live up to the hype and if Murphy can extend the lead for the Roughriders. Trailing off of third, Sabato getting a big lead and a fly ball hit out to left. Filet going over towards the corner. He dropped the ball. Filet dropped the ball. 1 run is going to score, and 2, nope. They called it a foul ball. That,
oh yeah, he was supposed to.
well, because there's no foul line down there.
Yeah, he was supposed to.
Well, it doesn't matter that he was past the foul pole, but it matters that, well, it's a darn good thing that he dropped the ball. I mean, but there's no chalk line showing fair or foul, so that's all up to the umpire to show where it is, and he's got the best angle out of all of us, so it's a tough call. It's a very tough call. We'll try it again. Krankowski delivers. That one's up and in. Three-2. Krankowski steps off the mound. You could see Zach Welsher warming up down the first base line, getting a little bit warm out there because he's going to have to with how long this first inning has been. Again, Sabato trailing off the bag. 3-2 hits Murphy, and that will force in Sabato, making it 2-0 Roughriders. This could definitely get out of control if Krankowski doesn't get his stuff under control. So Sabato scores, Graber moves to third, Murphy moves to second, or Ian Murphy, that is. Krankowski delivers to Shane Daly. There's a pop-up on the first pitch. In the shallow infield, they're going to call an infield fly. Rightfully so, and it's taken in by Jack Gilmer for the second out. So here's Zay Ishmael, 8th batter of the frame. One and 0 to Ishmael. Fouled back. One count to Ishmael. Shortstop Sean Perkins on deck for the Roughriders. Ishmael got a piece of it and also got a piece of Connor Arsenal behind the plate. Ishmael steps in. He's down in the count 1-2, but with the bases loaded, has a huge RBI opportunity right here. Krankowski delivers. Finally gets a fastball out, and it's up and in. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting mix that Krankowski delivers. I mean, he's got, it's like a 70-30 mix where he's got mostly breaking balls, and it's like a mirror. He uses the fastball when he needs to, but not as his primary pitch. He uses it when he's ahead in the count. There's another one foul over towards the access road. Oh, it bounced off the work shed back there, so luckily less of a walk for Bauman, but he's able to hang on to it. Ishmael staying alive here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. You're watching coverage of the Tri-County Baseball League quarterfinals here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. 2-0 Roughriders in the bottom of the first. Bases loaded, and the 1-2. That one skips in the dirt, 2-2. Ishmael's, or excuse me, 3-2. Ishmael just not giving up, I'll tell you. And Krankowski has had a very high pitch count in the first inning. They may have to do some chicanery to get a reliever out there on the hill in middle innings, but here's the payoff. Ishmael again with all 3 runners going on the start. That one's fouled back. Two outs, bases loaded, full count. Zay Ishmael with a very long at bat here. Krankowski looks over and delivers. Again foul. This is going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Not only has he worked the count full, he's got several foul balls to boot, and he's really been seeing red here versus Krankowski. He's just been locked in on the baseball, and even if he's not hit the ball necessarily in fair territory. The payoff again. That one is ball 4. Wait, time is called. Wait a second, wait, what's going on here? Oh, the ball skipped away, but time was called at home, so Krankowski's gonna walk in another run, but props to Ian Murphy for at least trying to get the free run, and it's 3-0 Roughriders. You gotta imagine Pine Barrens manager Jerry Lamola has got to be thinking in really, really defensive modes with how everything's working right now. But Sean Perkins, that one skips away from their catcher, coming to the plate. The throw is late. And a rather stiff slide from Ian Murphy makes it 4-0. as the Pine Barrens have their back against the wall in what has been a very weird first inning. So Jack Murphy now at third. Zay Ishmael in just one pitch has already gotten to second base. This has been quite the oddball. There's a strike. 1-1. And what do you know? We're going to have a reliever warming up, number 41. He's at least getting the stretch bands ready. At least getting his early reps in. That one's outside. 2-1. I mean, this is what I love about these grassroots broadcasts that we have, is that, you know, you're basically one with the players. You're not in your own office. You're not, you know, you're experiencing the same heat and the same wind, the same rain that everybody else has to deal with. So it's a good experience to have. But it's 2-2 to Sean Perkins, the shortstop. 9th batter of the frame for the Roughriders. They're up 3-0. Runners on second and third here in the first, and a foul ball. I mean, I don't have a pitch counter for Krankowski, but I would imagine he's well into the 30, maybe even 40 pitch range just in the first inning alone. But this is all the more reason for the Pine Barrens to strike back in the top half of the second inning. They've got some good power and contact hitters in the middle of their order, so always something to look out for. That one's another foul ball. Bauman was out there. He was retrieving one of the foul balls and came back from the access road only to turn around again and have to find another one. So I can see Murphy out there on third base. He's like practicing his swing while he's on the base. Quite an interesting way. I don't know if he's like jittery or what, but this one's going to be poked out to third. Throw to first is in time, and the side is retired. But the damage is certainly done. If you look at the top left of your screen, it's 4-0 after one. Top of the second inning, Pine Barrens trails the Roughriders by a score of 4-0 here in the first inning, or here in the top of the second rather. Roughriders got a lot of runs in through walks and errors, errant throws, and a lot of mishaps from the home team side, but we'll see what Welsher can do here in the top half of the second. That one's poked out towards the third base line. McKenna going over, and it's out of play.
Trican baseball quarterfinals. Okay. It's on Twitter, right?
2-2. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Phantoms. Mike Fillet, Zach Wiener, and Brian Brown. That's a bullet out to left, but it is taken in by Aaron Graber, one away. See, the Roughriders are one of the top defensive teams in this TCBL circuit, so it makes for an even tougher challenge when the Pine Barrens are making errors, and you obviously want to counter that with some hits of your own, and it's obviously causing a lot of issues. So here's Zach Wiener, the extended hitter, or the extra hitter, excuse me. Yeah, Roughriders got 9 men up to the plate in the first. They had 3 errors to take advantage of. And actually, believe it or not, they had no hits, but they scored 4 runs. They had ground out, hit by pitch, and an E1, an E5, a walk, hit by pitch, E7, pop out to the second baseman, a walk, and a 5-3 ground out. So technically, we still have a no-hit watch, but the issue is that there's 4 runs on the board, so I don't know if I could say I've seen that before, but that one misses to Wiener, and it's going to be 3-2. And of course, Brian Brown, the second baseman, on deck for the Phantoms. Welsher delivers. That one skips away. Excuse me, now it's going to be 3-2. 2-2? That's not what I heard him say, but... Well, we'll figure it out after this pitch. Welsher looks down his catcher, Carbone, and delivers. Yeah, now it's 3-2. Okay. You were right, Vince. I can't always be right in this industry. Yeah, in this industry. I can't be right with my vocal cords sabotaging me as well. It's like a firewall preventing me from getting the words out. Here's a ground ball. Oh, booted it short, picked up, and Vasquez almost made the play on the rebound, but that's going to be an infield hit for Wiener. I don't know if you want to score that in E6, or I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to score it in E6. So that would mean, I mean, that's unofficial, but on my scorecard I've got 4 errors in an inning and a half, so definitely makes for an interesting situation. But here's Brian Brown, the second baseman. He'll be followed by Joey Steffen, the third baseman. Time is called. The plate. There's a strike. Clear as day. He's obviously getting some good location out there, but Brown of TCNJ batting .375, 18 for 48, 1 homer, 2 walks, 927 OPS. One's in the dirt. Holding it first will be Wiener. That's a 1-1 count. A lot of TCNJ guys on the roster. Brian Brown, Ethan Early, Mike Fillet, excuse me. And Zach Wiener, the outfielder, who's now on first base. All either players or alumni of the College of New Jersey. Swing and miss. And of course, the pitcher, Ronnie Krankowski, comes out of Holy Cross University. Purple and white, North Carolina. But he's got a 5.23 ERA in 20 innings and 2/3, so starting him in game 2 and then allowing 4 runs in the first inning doesn't help his case, but we'll see what he can get. Weird swing, but it's a foul ball nonetheless. Welsher looks down his catcher from the stretch. Oh, look at the curveball. Throw back to first. They do not got him. It's going to be a strikeout. Second of the evening for Welsher. There's 2 down. So here is Joey Steff, the third baseman now. Hot shot out to third. That's going to trickle in the left field for a base hit. Graber will pick that one up when it halts out left, and now Pine Barrens with 2 on. 2 on, 2 out. Wiener moves up to second. And Steff getting all over to first pitch for a base hit. Think of that as like a remedy, if you will, the fact that, you know, a little bit of vengeance for the fact that he committed 2 errors in the first inning. Now he's got a base hit on his card, and if Connor Arsenault, the catcher, can get the run home, then maybe the inning won't be such a lost cause after all. Or won't be such a blight on their, or a blemish on their resume so far. Arsenault with a rather crouched stance, he takes a strike. A 1 poked foul, and it's 0-2 towards the Roughriders dugout. Evan Carbone, Shea McKenna, and Danny Vasquez, 10, 1, and 2, will be the first 3 for the Roughriders in the bottom half of the second. Arsenault popped up behind the plate, and Carbone makes the catch before that ball could go out of play. That's a nice there by Carbone. Used to that a lot as a Charlotte Raptor. After 1.5, it's still 4-0 Rough Riders. Roughriders brought up 9 men in the first. Now they've got to start anew with a 4-0 ball game in the bottom of the second inning as Krankowski delivers a first pitch strike. It's 0-1. On one.
Wait, what's his name? Nah, I think they got him first. They got a new one. I think this is like, I knew the other.
Line drive, base hit, Carbone. It's a fair ball into the corner. This is a close throw. That throw goes wide. It's booted at second base, and it's going to be a double for Evan Carbone to round out the order. That throw was almost airmailed and left
I didn't go there because I knew
by Mike Fillet. And it almost got booted at second too by Brown, but everybody kind of minds their P's and Q's, and a leadoff double by Carbone brings up Shea McKenna of West Deptford. Folks, don't forget, tune in to the DWB football feature on August 25th as we kick off the Friday Night Lights series in the 2023 season as the Cherry Hill East Cougars face off against the Triton Mustangs. As a line drive to right, that'll be caught. Nice grab out there by Ryan Kelly. There's one down. I don't know if the sun kind of distracted him a little bit because it looked like his glove was a little bit cockeyed when he made the catch, but that might have been more luck, if anything. But one down and a runner on second for Denny Vasquez. He reached on a hit by pitch and came around to score on an E1 followed by the E5 and scored on a walk. There's a strike. Yeah, I think that's what makes part of this Tri-County experience very interesting is that, you know, these head coaches are usually also the third base coach. Everybody's got to be versatile. Everybody's got to be able to work together. You know, it's not like when you look at these Group 4 or Group 5 or Group 3, whatever, baseball teams that, and even in college, you know, everybody has their own role. You know, I did a Rutgers Camden game back in April, and I got a media guide for the game. I had never gotten that for any high school event before. They had them at the ready. They were giving them out at the front door. So, you know, the fact that we were given that kind of media access and everything like that, it's a lot different than what you're used to in a lot more of the grassroots leagues. That's going to be an error. It's going to go into center field. Zach Ellen with a throw to the plate. It is short. It gets away. Vasquez going down to second base. He's going to get in there. And a double error. Now they've caught the Pine Barrens napping. Nobody's on third. The Roughriders came into this series as the number 6 seed, but right now they're playing like number 1s as it's a 5-0 game as Denny Vasquez turns a routine ground ball into 3 bases. Unbelievable. Wow. I mean, there were 2 errors on the scorecard, but you could have called a third error on the fact that nobody was at third base. I mean, they were napping right there. That's a liner. It's caught at third, or rather caught at short by Jack Gilmer, and there's 2 down. I don't even know how I would write down what Danny Vasquez did on the scorecard. So E6, then there was an E8. Do you call an E5 for nobody covering the bag? I guess not. But wow. And by the time I got the process, that a full at-bat is passed, and Aaron Graber is going to ground this one out to short, picked up, and Gilmer will get a little redemption and a collision at first base to retire the side. So the Pine Barrens give up yet another run and add 2 more errors to the scorecard. It is, after 2 innings, 5-0. Top of the third inning, Pine Barrens trail the Roughriders 5-0 in Game 2 of the Tri-County Quarterfinals as Welsher delivers a cricket pitch to Ronnie Krankowski. It's going to be 9, 10, and 1. Krankowski, Gilmer, and Zach Ellen batting for the Phantoms, and they had gotten a couple base runners strung together but couldn't put anything home, as there's a strike to the Holy Cross alum. As we said, Jack Gilmer, the shortstop, on deck to round out the order for the Phantoms, but it's just been a rough game. I mean, the Roughriders started off with a 4-run inning on no hits, all on walks, hit by pitches and errors, but if you look at the scorecard, I mean, it's been crazy what they've been capable of. There's a line drive out to short, diving stop, excuse me, and that is in time. A phenomenal play at second base by Danny Vasquez, and there's one down. That was caught right at the webbing of his glove. He snow-coned it a little bit and made a phenomenal play. Can't get much better than that. But yeah, looking at the scorecard right now, you've got 1, 2, 3 errors in the first inning and then 2 more in the second. So the Phantoms can really only blame themselves and 5 errors for being down in such a deep deficit as they are right now. Up and in, almost grazed Gilmer. It's 1-1. Yeah, Bill Cohood's down there taking some photos of the Phantoms ball players. That one is a foul ball down the third base line towards McKenna. As we were saying, make sure to check out when DWB kicks off its football season on Friday, August 25th, with coverage of the Cherry Hill East Cougars and the Triton Mustangs from Highland Regional High School in Blackwood, 6 p.m. start time. We've got 4 open spots for football games this year. We're covering like 14 or 15 games. It's going to be a beauty. That one's inside. That's ball 4. So Gilmer rounds out the order with a walk. Just a third base runner allowed in 2 innings and a third so far for Welsher. But he's been solid so far. Been throwing a lot of strikes, been relatively accurate, and he's got a lot less pressure to deal with considering he's got a 5-run lead at the helm right now. There's a strike. Outside. There's a strike to Ellen. Again, Ellen, before Teddy Gorski of the Grizzlies took him over, was pretty darn good luck for the batting title. But then just didn't really have everything put together in the last couple of weeks. Slow toss over to first. Honestly, after seeing the overthrow by Krankowski in the first inning, probably is a good idea to just kind of lob it over in case he breaks, instead of risking that poor throw leading to another base runner. But Ellen is somewhat small in stature, so I wonder if, being a 2-2 count, if he's been able to work a lot of walks just from, you know, having that advantage of being, you know, 5'8", 5'9". and also kind of having a crouched stance, but he's going to slap this one out to third. Backhanded, McKenna drops it, and it's going to be an infield single for Zach Ellen. And moves Gilmer over to second base. You can't be dissatisfied with the effort, though. I mean, he had to backhand it, had to trap it, and just couldn't put 2 and 2 together. But that'll be scored on, in my book, as a base hit. Here is John Schwarzkowski. He grounded out to the second baseman his first time. Yeah, Vasquez has had a lot of good plays out there. First pitch from Welsher. Didn't even really leg kick or anything. It's 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Time is called. That one's upstairs. Swing, miss. Big strikeout there with 2 on, and Schwarzkowski is retired for the second out. Third strikeout in as many innings for Zach Welsher. This brings up the right fielder, Ryan Kelly. 2 on, 2 out. Pine Barrens looking to break the goose egg on the scoreboard. It's 1-0. It was quite a hot evening when we got started here, but just about 7 p.m. from the Ricino Athletic Complex. 84 degrees, wind blowing south to southwest at 9 miles per hour, humidity 47%. There's a strike. And of course, we're going to try to do a Game 3 tomorrow, possibly at Folk Field in Cherry Hill, but follow our Twitter for more updates at DW Broadcasting, and follow the Tri-County League Twitter at Tri-County Online. There's about a 40% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow from 3 to 6. But Friday looks good. Sunday through Wednesday look good in terms of weather. Although the problem is it's going to be 97 degrees tomorrow and Friday. And that's at least a high. But it's going to get to much more favorable temperatures of 82, 84, 84, and 82 Sunday through Wednesday. It's not going to get higher than 84 until the end of next week. So the high today was 90. Again, dipped down to 84 as the sun creeps down behind us at around 7. Welsher delivers. Foul ball down the third base line. One's out of play, over towards the trees, and out of play. I honestly kind of want a foul ball to go this way because I just want to make a catch. I don't have my glove on me. And a fan made the toss over to McKenna. We'll try it again, 2-2. Welshire in a bit of a jam, but doesn't seem all that phased at all. Here we go once more. The pitch. Outside. Carbone pops up from his crouch. Thought he would have to make a throw over to second base, but alas, he did not. And it's a 3-2 count. Mike Fillet on deck. And for the Phantoms. We'll see what they can work with here. That is ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Well, the last thing you want to do is repeat the mistakes of your opponents. And I think Welshire just kind of lost control a little bit there after what was a very heavily contested at bat. Just couldn't let the control get the best of them. But with another lefty here, Mike Fillet and Brian Brown, again another lefty on deck. See what they can get going here. That's a swing and a miss. Fillet heavy to jump all over that one. And again, with all the wide open spaces out in, right center field and everything like that, I'd say why not? And, try to rip one into the gap. With the bases loaded, really nothing you can do wrong except strike out. You've already made a lot of progress in hampering the efficiency of Welshire. Now all you've got to do is get in his head a little bit and hit a couple line drives, and you're back in business. Here's a foul ball down the third base line. McKenna racing over, and it is out of play. That was another close call over here. Should probably stand up from my director's chair to get a better angle. Although if I dropped the ball, I'd mark an E10 in my scorecard for myself. So Welshire steps off the mound. He'll regather a little bit as he's got a 2-strike count to work with now. With the bases loaded, 2 down, and a 5-0 Roughriders lead here in Game 2. Welshire looks back at Ellen at second base. Now Carbone, and he'll step off. All of that for a step off. Jack Gilmer on third, Zach Ellen on second base, and then Ryan Kelly on first. And he got him. Side retired. Pine Barrens load the bases, but get nothing more. We go to the bottom of the third, 5-0 Rough Riders. Garden State Pet Center, independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is companionship between people and animals, providing the healthiest product choices, including all-natural foods that support and relieve issues, and innovative for pet parents. Our goal is our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not the biggest store on the East, we're striving to be the no other pet store will feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
All right, folks. Oh, sorry, that's a bit loud.
Hey folks, we're experiencing some technical difficulties with our audio. Thanks to Pat DiCostanzo for reaching out and letting us know about it. We are trying to fix the issue, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. So, yeah, we are trying to do the best we can to fix the issue while we're working on it. But there's one out in the top of the sixth. Roughriders still lead 7-0. While we fix the issue, just please stand by, and we will hopefully have this issue fixed in a ample amount of time. Thank you.
Okay, it's good now.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently what it is we have to disconnect the blue cord from the laptop and plug it back in. It's probably loose.
Okay, so that, okay, at least we know in future.
Yeah. You're doing good on the camera work, though.
All right.
Straight at him, Marty.
Sorry about that, folks. We apparently for the past 20 minutes or so we didn't have any audio, so sincere apologies. But that's the business we call show. Sometimes tech issues rule the land. Mason Dobbs warming up in the bullpen. And he got him. Foul out. And the Phantoms go down without a base runner at the bottom of the sixth. Still running out of time. It's 7-0. Bottom of the 6th. Seems like this game is pretty much decided. Again, apologies to the folks for the past 30 minutes or so who didn't have audio on our broadcast. But, yeah. Don't know how else. It was just a loose cord, and nobody in our booth picked up on it until I checked our Twitter DM. So, thanks to Pat DiCostanzo and Brian Eifert for pointing it out to us. 7-0 Roughriders here in the bottom of the 6th. If this ball game doesn't continue further, stay tuned for the DWB postgame show presented by Doug Does Anything, as that ball's taken in by Arsenault behind the plate. And Perkins is retired. One away. Here's Evan Carbone. Actually, no, they're going to go with a pinch hitter here. Ward is going to bat. That one's going to be a hit by pitch. And how about it? So Connor Ward with a hit by pitch, and this brings up Evan Carbone again. No, excuse me, Shea McKenna. Everything that could go wrong tonight has gone wrong on our broadcast. So here's the ground ball, hot shot, almost. Thomas Gasse. That's an error on Thomas Gasse, and and yes, we did get the error on the broadcast. Look, they were the ones pointing it out. There's a ground ball out to short, picked up, throw to second for one. Brown with a throw to first. It is not in time, and that'll be a fielder's choice. A good crowd on hand tonight on a beautiful Wednesday evening here in Haddon Township. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, located on the 200 block of Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, NJ. Visit there 7 days a week for all the healthiest pet products and food, cages, toys, accessories, anything that your pet may need. Visit 7 days a week or visit online at exoticpetsnj.com. I've always wanted to pet a snake. I've always wanted to get a base hit in center field there. They've got like small animals, reptiles, got many guinea pigs. My mom, she hates tarantulas. I don't think they have that there, but anything exotic, Garden State Pet Center. But an opportunity for you to pet a snake, and it was too much for me to go for it. But you know, it ended up being so. I think there was a koala exhibit and everything like that. But there's a strike. But what else are you going to talk about except petting snakes in a 7-0 ball game here in this bottom of the 6th inning? I mean, we're running out of time a little bit, but I mean, this has been one of the more interesting fields that I've covered so far. You know, considering the grass on the infield. There's a ground ball back to the mound. Throw to first is in time. And we'll go to the top of the 7th inning. Pine Barrens still have time, but they are racing against Mother Nature and how long that sun can stay above the horizon. It's 7-0 Rough Riders. They've got 3 more outs until the Rough Riders can do their semifinal appearance here in 2023. We'll be right back. Top of the 7th inning. First pitch from Faust is going to be a strike to Brian Brown, as the Roughriders have been a consistently good team today, and they've continued to stay in that good spot as they've taken advantage of some sloppy defense from the visitors. 8 errors on the Pine Barrens Phantoms scorecard, and that's even with me being rather strict on errors. Maybe on the official scorecard it'll be closer to 4 or 5, but there's a line drive in the left, and Brown's got a base hit out in front of Aaron Graber. You can see that ball just kind of loses all its momentum in the grass. I mean, this field, I was talking to Bill Cohood earlier, it is really nice. I mean, they mowed the outfield grass. The only thing that they need to do is the infield and maybe put up like a temporary fence out there, but then you've got a perfect field. Beautiful trees out here in the outfield. But remember, the Roughriders for the past 30 years called Russ Spicer Diamond their home out in Haddonfield on the Radnor Avenue fields. But then they kind of got booted out from, I think it was from the city politicians and everything like that. But after that, you know, they kind of became a road warrior team. They had to find somewhere to play, so this has been their home field for a little while. So we've got a lovely little visitor in our broadcast booth right now. How about it? There's a strike. 2-1. Hi. We've got a new color commentator, folks. Maybe he or she is camera shy. Joey Steph at the dish. He's going to foul that one straight back. Never a dull moment when we broadcast baseball. There's always something, but a visit from our pupper friends is never unwelcome. That one's a fly ball popped up out towards the third base side. McKenna going over, and it's out of play. Depending on what happens tomorrow, or today rather, if CHBR beats the Haddonfield Dogs, we'd be covering that Game 3 tomorrow at Folk Field in Cherry Hill. There's another foul ball over towards the bullpen where Mason Dobbs, the RCSJ Gloucester commit, is warming up. Steph 1 for 2 with a single and a fielder's choice, his first time. But I think the story of this game overall has been defense. You've had these guys that have dropped routine fly balls in the outfield, leading to several runs scoring. And the Roughriders have had a couple mishaps, but they've mostly kept it clean, and they've had a couple of nice plays along the way. So it is definitely a valuable effort, but that one goes into the trees. Look out down there. Some folks in the lawn chairs almost got a concussion from that foul ball, but fan throws it back in. I think that's what makes this venue so interesting. You've got so many different caveats. You've got this hill that we're set up on. We could have set up out in the left field hill down the line. Would have made for quite an interesting situation, but that one misses upstairs. But in fact, this very football field, the Ricino Turf over here, is where we're going to have a DWB football feature on October 13th. The Wildwood Warriors and the Haddon Township Hawks, 7 p.m. That's a line drive to left, and it's caught by Aaron Graber. And that one is going to be the second out. Excuse me, 1 out. Sorry. Got a little ahead of myself, but here's Connor Arsenal. inside. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Paroli's Printing and Bantles, Banners, Signs, and Apparel. A true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. If you need graduation, lawn signs and banners, flyers, A-frames, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. This could do it. There's one. There's not going to be two. Ishmael just couldn't come up with it at first. And that is now going to leave the Pine Barrens, the number 3 seed in this Tri-County League tournament, down to their last out. A tough draw, really. I mean, the last batter would be the man that was on the hill for the majority of tonight. And that would be Ronnie Krinkowski. Runner on first, 2 down, 7-0 Roughriders here in Game 2 of the Tri-County League quarterfinals. That one's a short fly ball out to second, camping under it and making the catch. Bringing it down is Sean Perkins, and the Roughriders, as the number 6 seed, are the second to punch their ticket to the TCBL semifinal round with a 7-0 rout of the Pine Barrens Phantoms for the second year in a row and the second year of their existence in the Tri-County League. They have been knocked out in the first round that they've played in. They got the bye because of the division win, but the Roughriders showed up. They won 10-8 last night in 8 innings. Now they are moving on. Whether they play the Gartons, whether they play CHBR, whether they play Haddonfield, or even whether they play Washington Township or CHP, they've got a lot of different possibilities that they could be playing, and as the number 6 seed, it'll only be a more difficult battle from here. Stay tuned as we'll bring you the Doug Does Anything post-game show and interview. This broadcast is brought to you by Doug Does Anything, your local handyman. For any job done, no matter how big or small, give Doug Does Anything a call, 856-412-0118. We'll grab our player of the game, and we'll be right back in just a moment. A dominant win and a dominant series for the Roughriders advanced them as the second team to punch their ticket to the TCBL semifinals. We've got our Doug Does Anything player of the game, Evan Carbone of Rutgers Camden. What a night it was.
Yes, it was.
I mean, 4 runs in the first inning, came out with a 7-0 win, just shut down the North Division champions. I mean, 6 seed versus the 3 seed. I would have never thought that it would have been a 2-0 series sweep, but how'd you guys feel out there today?
Good. I mean, it all kind of came together today. Like, our lineup's really good, 1 through 10. And early in the year, we weren't scoring runs, but it seems like everyone's kind of getting hot at the right time, so it's good.
And you guys definitely took advantage of not just good pitching from Zach Welsher, but also on the fact that you guys only had 2 errors on the day. Pine Barrens had 8. They had 8 errors on my scorecard, and I'm pretty strict with errors, so maybe it was closer to 4 or 5, but it is to be said that you guys scored 4 runs in the first inning with no hits. Got through 9 out of 10 batters in the order with no hits allowed, 3 errors, bunch of walks, bunch of hit by pitches, and it's just you guys seem to string it all together and make the strategy work. There was great defense out there from Danny Vasquez. He made a couple of diving plays. The outfield did great tonight, but now that you guys are in a position to where you guys won in 8 innings on Monday versus Pine Barrens Phantoms, now you guys have won dominantly in game 2. Whoever you guys play next, it's going to be your toughest opponent yet. So how do you feel going into the next series?
I feel good. I mean, our veterans have kind of stepped up with Welsher, and Danny's a good leader, even for college team too. So
right.
We're kind of just riding behind them, and just everyone's along for the ride. So it's been good. It'll be fun.
And you were 2 for 2 with getting on base all 3 times as well, the double, the single, and the hit by pitch. What were you seeing out there that was allowing you to hit the ball so well?
I was just seeing it well today. I mean, past couple games I was hitting the ball hard and some tough luck, and today they fell, so it was good.
And that's really all that matters in the end. You guys got the runs that you needed. You had the defense to back you up, and you had the pitching with Zach Welsher. Obviously, with you being behind the plate with Zach Welsher on the hill, what were you guys kind of discussing that made the situation work out in the end, that you guys were able to be so fluid in your communication and just make it work in the end for the pitcher?
I mean, honestly, he kind of made it easy for me too. He was really on today, so when a veteran's on like that, it's just a fun time back there because you don't got to do nothing crazy.
Right. I mean, you guys have good communication. You guys know what you're doing, and obviously these guys were right now. Mason Dobbs. We'll pan the camera to Mason Dobbs right now because he is. He's throwing some live BP. He didn't get to throw today, so he is throwing some live batting practice to, who's that out there? That's 14. That's Cole McKenna. So they're literally just throwing out there. You guys are a loose team. You guys are a fun team, and you guys seem to know how to have fun, and you guys translated that into playing baseball and playing dominant baseball. Now that you guys are in the semifinals, what's your approach?
Same thing, just have fun. We're loose, got a lot of good personalities on the team, so we should have a good time, and when good players have a good time, good things happen, you know what I mean?
Well, Dobbs just gave up I don't know where that ball just landed. Oh, that was, look at that. We'll pan to that real quick. This has been a fun interview. Speaking of having fun, look at that. That ball is way out there. Yeah, wow. How about that for Cole McKenna? So Dobbs is getting his reps in. You got your reps in behind the plate, but now that you guys are moved on and you guys are up next in the round of 4, it's going to be tough. So congratulations on the player of the game.
Appreciate
Congratulations on moving on and beating the division winner in the North Division. So that'll do it for DWB tonight here at the Ricino Athletic Complex in Haddon Township. From everybody here at DWB, my producer Vincent Vogt, my graphics crew Gavin Van Rell and Caleb Lane, and myself, Dan Wilkins, we will, depending on the score, see you tomorrow at Folk Field in Cherry Hill between the CHBR Third Base Club and the Haddonfield Dogs. Again, waiting on a score update from that, but follow our Twitter at DW Broadcasting and the Tri-County League Twitter